the United Kingdom, as we know it today, is a mosaic of nations, each with its own rich and often tumultuous history. For Wales, its integration into this union was not a single, defining event, but rather a centuries-long process marked by conquest, rebellion, political maneuvering, and ultimately, legal assimilation. Understanding how, why, and when Wales became part of the United Kingdom requires delving deep into a narrative woven with independent spirit and English ambition. The long road to conquest, a millennium of conflict. The story begins long before the concept of a United Kingdom. The people inhabiting the western reaches of Britain, who would come to be known as the Welsh from the Anglo-Saxon Wel, meaning foreigner or Romanized Celt, were the descendants of the ancient Britons. As Anglo-Saxon kingdoms expanded across what became England, they pushed the native Celtic populations westward, establishing the distinct cultural and linguistic entity of Cymru, the land of the compatriots. For centuries, Wales existed as a collection of independent or semi-independent principalities, often warring amongst themselves but united by a shared language, Welsh, and cultural identity. Despite frequent incursions and demands for homage from powerful English monarchs, Welsh princes largely maintained their sovereignty. The Norman conquest of England in 1066 marked a significant turning point. The new Norman kings, eager to secure their western borders, began a systematic campaign to subdue Wales. This was largely achieved through the creation of the Marcher lordships, semi-autonomous feudal territories granted to Norman barons along the Welsh border. These lords enjoyed extensive powers, effectively creating a buffer zone and gradually encroaching upon Welsh lands. The end of independence. Llywelyn and Edward I. By the 13th century, a remarkable figure emerged to challenge this encroachment. Llywelyn ap Gruffydd, often known as Llywelyn the Last. Through shrewd diplomacy and military prowess, he managed to unite much of Wales, and was formally recognized by the English crown as Prince of Wales in the Treaty of Montgomery 1267. This represented the zenith of Welsh independence. However, Llywelyn's defiance and the strategic ambitions of King Edward I of England proved irreconcilable. Edward, a formidable military leader, launched two major campaigns against Wales in the late 13th century. Llywelyn's defeat and death in 1282, followed by the execution of his brother Dyfed ap Gruffydd in 1283, effectively ended independent Welsh rule. When and how, partially, the Statute of Rhuddlan 1284, following his conquest. Edward I issued the Statute of Rhuddlan in 1284. This crucial piece of legislation formally annexed the Principality of Wales, the lands directly ruled by Llywelyn, to the English crown. It introduced English common law into these conquered territories, established a new administrative system based on English counties, and built a series of imposing castles like Caernarfon and Conwy to cement English control. While this did not unite Wales with England legally, it firmly placed significant parts of Wales under direct English royal rule, effectively ending Welsh sovereignty. The Marcher lordships, however, remained largely outside this direct royal control, a messy anomaly that would persist for centuries. Rebellion and reassertion. The Glyndŵr Uprising. Despite direct English rule, Welsh national identity and a desire for independence did not extinguish. The most significant challenge to English dominance came in the early 15th century with the Owain Glyndŵr Rebellion 1400 to 1415. Glyndŵr, a Welsh nobleman, led a widespread and initially successful uprising, proclaiming himself Prince of Wales. He established a Welsh parliament, sought international recognition, and for a short period, revived the dream of an independent Wales, though ultimately suppressed by a determined English crown. Glyndŵr's rebellion remains a powerful symbol of Welsh resistance and an enduring figure in national mythology, demonstrating that, despite conquest, the distinct Welsh identity persisted. The final integration, the Acts of Union. The definitive legal incorporation of Wales into the Kingdom of England came in the 16th century under the Tudor dynasty. Ironically, the Tudors had strong Welsh roots. Henry VII, the first Tudor king, was of Welsh descent, and had garnered significant Welsh support on his path to the throne. This Welsh connection, however, did not prevent his son Henry VIII from enacting laws that would fundamentally alter Wales' constitutional status. Why Henry VIII did it? Several factors motivated Henry VIII to formally integrate Wales' administrative efficiency. The complex and often chaotic system of Marcher lordships was an administrative headache. Bringing them under direct crown control streamlined governance. Legal uniformity. The existence of different legal systems created confusion and inefficiency. Extending English common law across Wales was seen as a modernizing step. Security. A fully integrated Wales administered effectively would be less prone to rebellion and a more secure western border for England, particularly important during Henry's break with Rome. Centralization of power. Henry VIII was a monarch committed to absolute control and the consolidation of royal authority throughout his realm. When and how? The laws in Wales, Acts of 1536 and 1543, these two parliamentary acts, often collectively referred to as the Acts of Union, though that term is more accurately applied to the later unions with Scotland and Ireland, were the legal instruments that brought Wales fully into the English legal and administrative system. The Laws in Wales Act 1536 abolished the Marcher lordships. Their unique jurisdictions were dissolved, and their territories were either absorbed into existing Welsh counties or used to create new ones. For example, Monmouthshire extended English law, declared English law to be the sole law throughout Wales, replacing Welsh customary law where it still existed. Established English shire system. Wales was divided into 13 counties, including Monmouthshire, mirroring the English county system. Granted parliamentary representation. Welsh counties and boroughs were given the right to elect members to the English Parliament for the first time. Made English the language of administration. This was perhaps the most culturally impactful clause, stating that no one who used the Welsh language could hold public office in Wales, effectively marginalising the native tongue in official life. The Laws in Wales Act 1543. This act elaborated on and refined the provisions of the 1536 Act, establishing the Court of Great Sessions for Wales, a single, unified legal court system that operated from 1543 until its abolition in 1830. It further clarified administrative and judicial procedures. The aftermath, integration and persistent identity. From 1543 onwards, Wales was legally and administratively part of the Kingdom of England, later becoming part of Great Britain after the union with Scotland in 1707, and then the United Kingdom after the union with Ireland in 1801. Wales effectively ceased to exist as a distinct political or legal entity. For centuries, the primary impact was assimilation. English became the language of power, law, and opportunity. Yet, Welsh identity, though suppressed in official life, persisted and often thrived in local communities, chapels, and literature. The Industrial Revolution brought massive demographic shifts to Wales in the 18th and 19th centuries, forging new communities and, ironically, strengthening a distinct working-class Welsh identity that often expressed itself in the Welsh language and through nonconformist religion. In the 20th century, a powerful Welsh cultural and linguistic revival gained momentum, coupled with a growing political demand for greater recognition. This culminated in the late 20th century with the movement for devolution. In 1997, a referendum narrowly approved the creation of a Welsh Assembly, now the Senedd Cymru, Welsh Parliament. Established in 1999, this body has powers to legislate on various matters specific to Wales, representing a significant reassertion of Welsh national identity and self-governance within the framework of the United Kingdom. In conclusion, Wales became part of the United Kingdom through a long, often brutal process of conquest and subsequent legal integration. From Edward I's military subjugation and the Statute of Rhuddlan in the 13th century to the comprehensive Laws in Wales Acts of Henry VIII in the 16th century, the how was through imposed English law and administration, and the when was primarily the 1530s. The why was driven by English ambitions for control, security, and administrative uniformity. Yet, despite centuries of union, Wales has retained and reasserted its unique language, culture, and national consciousness, proving that legal integration does not always extinguish a people's spirit.